Dun, 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 dun. Cupid balls. Yeah.
Woo!
That one was a little bit longer, but I liked it. I thought that one was good.
Thank you for going the extra bar because I was not finished with mine yet. So
Needed to let that riff continue right there. Had to let it go. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, people. Kilted Balls is back, ready to talk at you. Big news right now is the market slowly, or maybe not so slowly, sinking like the Titanic. So, good times. I believe last episode, I can't remember if it was on air or off, but we were talking if that was, you know, like we were in a good bear market and things were going to keep dropping. They
yeah,
did.
I mean, I know I haven't been talking about it on air too much, but you and I have been talking a little bit with Jason, and I've been like gradually more and more believing that we were in the bear market. I mean, if you look at it, and can't remember if I've mentioned it on the show or not, but yeah, I do agree with that now. I never did pull profits. I don't have much in profits anymore. I'm glad I pulled some profits when I did,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's really
Well, you pulled a whole bunch
strange.
of looks when it was $2, right?
Yeah, but it was money that I had put in for the house. So
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You put it in lower than $2, right?
yes, I did. So there was profits there
You
because I
pulled
put it
huge
in Crow,
profits.
and then I pulled it out of Crow I thought it was going to pump for the Super Bowl, and it did not.
It did not. Oh, man.
That's fine. But yeah, I mean everything, like if you look at everything, it looks like we are in a bull market. So when the bull
Bear,
market,
bear.
oh, I'm sorry, I might get my animals confused. But yes, you're right. It really looks like we're in a bear market, and that happens, and not that I feel good about it, but I pulled a short today on Bitcoin. So I have a short right now. And
And how's it doing?
well, this is a funny story.
Oh,
So I didn't want to be a degen.
okay.
So I pulled some ETH that I that I had in my wallet. I moved it over to KuCoin, and I'm like, you know what? I am just gonna do a 25% long, because then I'm like, okay, like if it's going down, I'm fine. And I wasn't gonna set a stop loss. And then I'm like, nope, I need to do better than that. So I
Hmm.
set my stop loss at 25%, and it like instantly went there and liquidated. So I was
Well, it
like,
didn't liquidate. It closed your position.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, technical. You're right. So it closed my position at $200 down. So being the smart guy, I opened up another one, and that one I am right now $118 up.
Okay, so you haven't made up the original snafu.
No, I have not.
I can't believe you hit your stop loss that
It
fast.
was so fast. I mean, like it was maybe 5 minutes, because I thought it was a mistake and like something just didn't go through. So I'm like looking at everything, and then I
Right.
clicked the one button, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Dang
So
it.
I mean, I moved over. It was like $900 that I moved over, so not a ton, but I felt like I needed to get back in that swing again, because I haven't really been listening to Lifer, just
No.
kind of been chilling. I listened today. He was on a little bit earlier, which worked out really well. I
How
liked
was he
that.
today? I was going to ask about today. And
It was a good episode. Actually, today, I mean, one of the things that we've talked, the one thing that we like about him is that he's a real dude.
yes.
So he like really he broke down today. He told a story he said he always wanted to tell, but never was actually sure if he would tell it on air, about how he OD'd on fentanyl. So it
Oh,
was pretty crazy. I mean, I guess he had issues in the past with other stuff, is
hmm,
how he said it, and he
yeah.
was clean for a few months, and he was at a party and everyone was drinking and this and that, and he made a mistake. He didn't know what he was doing, and
Oops.
but he was, I mean, you've watched him before. He was
Yes.
bawling, and
Yeah.
everyone was just reaching out, like, we all go through tough times and things happen, and he's really done a lot to turn his life around. And
That is kind of the part that I like about him. but yeah, right. I like that he's real and that what he's
Hmm.
saying is real.
Yeah.
Like that stuff
So,
is kind of cool.
yeah, he was on early because he was on BitBoy's morning show. So I was able
Okay.
to listen to that too. And that was good because I guess I haven't heard him talk about it, but I guess BitBoy talks about when he used to be hooked on meth. And that's something that
Okay.
he talks about, and that he has turned his life around since then as well.
That's super interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
the last time I got liquidated, I kind of just stepped away, right? Like I was like,
Mhm.
okay, that was fun. I'm going to step back and just kind of watch from afar. And first, I'm really glad I did, right?
Yeah.
Because it hit a bear market. And even
Yes.
though I was playing shorts, like I was doing longs and shorts and everything else,
Mhm.
it still feels weird to me. And then the best part about it is I want to say like not even a week ago, right? But I was like, you know what? I should get back in. I should be at least having money in the game. Just
Yeah.
like you're saying. I'm like, I should at least buy some Ethereum while it's low.
Yeah.
And
That's what I
and
was
it,
thinking.
and Ethereum was at 28. And I
Okay.
was like, I should get some and at least have that, or maybe I'll do some 3S tokens or 3L tokens, not actual futures.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, you know what? I go, no,
Yeah.
no. I go, if Kilted is right and it's a bear, I'm like, I don't want to just buy and hold. I go, and I don't have time right now to play the futures game.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to kind of wait and see how the market goes. And within 2 days, it had dropped, right? And what's it at now? Like 23?
Yeah, ETH is 23 right now. That's what I was just looking up. 23.3, and Bitcoin is
So I,
30,768.
I made myself $500 in
Mm-hmm.
ETH by not doing it.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I made the right call, right? So
Yes.
I'm like, I'm glad. And part of that was I didn't want to listen to Lifer because Lifer I found causes me to FOMO. Like it doesn't matter whether so here's the thing. He would say this too. Like I learn from people who know, right?
Yeah.
And so he knows what he's doing. And so I'll watch him and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, so this is what I'm going to do." And I'll be like, "Yeah, this is what I'm going to do." And it almost always has not worked for me.
Yeah. He's been shorting a lot of stuff lately just from being in the group. Like I might
Yeah.
not be listening to the episodes, but I'm seeing the stuff that he's talking about coming through. And it's all like shorts, all
Well, and
shorts.
I think what the problem I've been having with listening to Lifer
Mm-hmm.
is if first off I can't listen to him regularly, right?
Okay.
Right, because I don't have that kind of time. So
Yes, because you're at school.
I'm at school,
Yep.
so it's really random when I get to listen to him. But then the other part of it is he is playing the odds. Like we've talked about it. It's still
Yes.
kind of a weird gamble, but he's playing the odds. He's saying, okay, look at the trends. There's a 60% chance this is going to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he does that with 10, 20, 30 different cryptos.
Mm-hmm.
And his thought is he's going to be wrong most of the time,
Yes.
which first off doesn't make any sense. If it goes that way 60% of the time, you're going to be right 60% of the time. The problem is he only talks about one, two, three of those things on his podcast.
Yes.
Everything else is in the background. So if you're listening to him, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. He knows what he's doing. Boom. And you do it. And then it fails. And you're like, crap. Well, that one failed, but his other four worked.
Yes.
And so I'm
And
like, I
he's
can't.
not giving you off his. I mean, if you're in the trading group, you can see the trades that everyone is talking about. But
Right.
if you're going in on every one of those, you either got to have a lot of coin to mess with,
Mm-hmm.
or very small bets, which either way is fine if that's what you get into. But yeah, like you, I just had to take a step back.
Yeah. And that's what I did. I took a step back and now I'm feeling better. I'm feeling like I could probably do it now with less emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my problems right now, for those of you who are thinking about doing this or doing futures like we were talking about, like I still, especially with the market down, I'm like, oh man, futures might be a really good play. If you think that 30 is the bottom,
Yes.
if you think 20 is the bottom, it's not a good play. But if you think 30, it's probably, then it's probably a good play. But the way I was doing futures, I need a lot of focus time. I need a
Yes.
lot of focus time. And
Hmm.
it's not just when I'm doing it. I need to be watching, say, Bitcoin, maybe not 24/7, but maybe 8 to 10 hours a day
Hmm.
for
Yeah, you're
me
paying attention.
to analyze and do the patterns like I do, right?
And
Like
that's
that.
what he does. That's his job. He's always in the charts.
Yes, and that's what he says. He goes, "This is my job, so you don't have to." Well, he's not doing 100x's,
Yeah.
right? So if
He's
I'm going to
doing
do
it.
100x's, I've got to spend that kind of time. And while I'm doing a real job,
Hmm.
I don't have that kind of time to devote. I'm only able to devote like an hour. And so then, we're coming out on L's because then you're trading with emotion instead of trading
Yeah, you're
your
right.
knowledge. So, yeah.
You're right.
But yeah, it's a bear market. You can still make money in the bear market.
Hmm.
But it's really interesting how low it's going, right? I really didn't think from way, way back when I got in. When I got into Bitcoin, it was at 30.
Hmm.
And I was like, it's never going to see 30 again.
Yes.
And nobody, I think, thought it was going to see 30 again.
No.
And so I'm still at the point where I'm like, yeah, you're not going under 30.
Yeah.
But a lot of
I'm.
people are saying it might.
Hmm. So the big thing, I think, as far as what's going on right now, is that, I mean, all this is happening, and the market's definitely down. I mean, you can look at the pattern, and whether it was a double top or however you want to look at it is fine. But one thing that Lifer said today, and he was talking even about it on both his show and on BitBoy's show, was that, I mean, he was suggesting if you're buying anything, I mean, he only buys Bitcoin. The BitBoy guys would disagree, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, XRP, but
Right.
not like anything else. But he's like, if I'm dollar cost averaging right now and I'm buying Bitcoin at 30,000.
Can you talk to us about dollar cost averaging either now or in a minute? Like, what
Sure,
do
I'll
you
just
mean when you
I'll
say
just do it
that?
right now. So okay, so say you bought your first Bitcoin at 60,000.
Okay.
Like, we'll just round it up. You bought a whole Bitcoin at 60,000. So right now you're buying another Bitcoin at 30,000.
Okay.
So that average is 45,000. That's dollar cost averaging. You're averaging
All the stuff you
down
buy.
the
Yes,
original your original price.
for sure. For sure.
Okay. So, but what Lifer is saying, he's like, if I buy Bitcoin right now at 30 and it goes down to 15, it's a 50% loss. 50% loss isn't a big deal. If I buy it right now at 30 and it goes up to 100K, that's a 3x. He's like, why would I not trade off a possible 50% loss for upwards of a 3x? And could it pop out of that range? So say it goes to 12 or 10.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, it would, I mean, I can't see that. You never know. I don't think anything us as retail investors have any effect on that anyways. But it goes lower. Yes, you could have gotten more, but right now is kind of a sweet spot. And I do agree with that. And if it drops down a little bit more and people are getting, more, at 27 or 26, but I mean, that makes sense to me. I've taken 50% losses and it doesn't hurt that bad.
Well, I mean,
And the 3x is sweet.
you don't have to look at it like that. You can just look at it like, okay, let's say I bought a Bitcoin at 30,000 and it drops to 15, which by the way, people, no, I haven't heard anybody say it's going to drop to 15.
I have.
Yeah, I've heard 18 and I've heard 20,
Mm-hmm.
but let's say it drops to 15. Okay, you lost $15,000, which to almost everybody we know is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But you lost 15,000. You still have 15,000, right? So you
Yes.
you lost that. But if it goes up to 60, which it was a year ago, you made 30,000.
Which is a lot of money.
And you only lose that 15,000 if you liquidate.
If you
So if
sell.
you're right, if you sell it. So if you're following our advice, and we try not to give people a lot of advice. We don't have we say all the time, this isn't
No.
financial advice. The one piece of advice we always give is don't play with money you need. You should be playing
Yes.
with money that you consider already a loss, right? So if you're taking $30,000 that you're already pretending you've lost, right?
Yes.
Well, why would you pull it out at 15?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
think you need that money,
And you only lose if you're selling it at 15.
right?
And
So you
yes,
really
like
have zero risk unless it goes to zero.
Yeah.
And people, just so you know, since Bitcoin was created, it hasn't gone to zero, friends.
Has not.
It has
And
not.
it's not, and even still now, it's never hit a previous high in a cycle. Like the low hasn't gone back to a previous high.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I
Okay.
like it how it sounds.
So we're in cycle 4 right now, yes, for
No,
Bitcoin.
I would believe you.
So people who do not know, Bitcoin goes in cycles. So what happens is every 4 years, Bitcoin halves. So that means the
Yes.
rewards that you get halve. And I think we talked either last week or 2 weeks ago, we
Yep.
talked about that. So what tends to happen is it will like because that decreases the supply and demand, like just all that. We talked about that. So in previous cycles, so Bitcoin has never, oh, that's too low. Okay, I'm trying to think what chart I need to look at to be able to see it. Okay, even this isn't going to work. Okay, that's that. So in all the previous cycles, once it hits, in previous cycles, it had a blow off top, which we did not have this time. We had a top, not a crazy top, but it never went back to that previous high once. No, the
Oh, I
low
see. So you're saying it
never
never
went back to
drops
the previous
below
high.
as high as it ever was. So if its high in the
Yes.
last cycle was $20,000, it never ever went back to that $20,000. It always stayed higher than that because the supply got smaller.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, did you see El Salvador bought what 500 more Bitcoins?
Good for them.
I think it might have been 50. I don't remember, right?
Okay.
But that's what their currency's based on now. So as soon as it dropped, they bought more.
Actually, I'm gonna close my short right now.
Oh, how much up?
It
You get to
looks
watch it
like
in real life, people. He's looking. He's looking.
and it let me see what I have, because you know how it's funky how it does that sometimes.
Yes.
I have to go to my other spot. Oh wait, not wrong spot. Wait, why did that close? Okay, so I have, why is this not working? Like I can't, oh wait, I need to do this. So 892. So I almost made it back to that original amount because it was nine something. I think like 930.
And what made you close the short? Because I'm sure that's what people.
Okay, so I'm looking at the 5-minute right now, and the stochastics to RSI is looping. Like right now is the time I would open along.
Okay.
So since I'm in that short, and I remember looking earlier, the 15 minutes coming down, so there might be a little bit more room in there. The
But
1
why take the
hour,
risk?
yeah, the 1 hour's going up, the 4
Now,
hours coming down,
was
but the
this a
daily's going up.
future or was it a token?
It was a future. It was a 25x.
Oh, I thought it was a 3x.
25.
Oh my goodness. Now, why did you choose not to do the take profit thing instead? So instead of closing the position, why didn't you say like sell it if it gets to whatever?
I wasn't thinking.
Oh, okay. Okay, that seems like
Really?
a good reason.
Yeah, because I could have easily done that.
Right. Well, and I get in trouble when I do that because that's one of the things that I do is I say that, but then I'm like, okay, maybe now's not the time. Okay. And then I like
Yeah.
keep pushing it up and then I'll see it dropping. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get rid of it. So because it's not going to go that far and I need to just
Yeah,
take my profit. Like I said, I had way too much emotion while I was doing it and
because
needed
you
to
can
just
chase it.
step
You can
back.
chase it down as
Right.
well. Like,
And
oh, it's going down. No, no, no. But
right.
yeah.
And in reality, what I needed to do, here's what I need to do. I was chasing 10% all
Mm-hmm.
the time, maybe 15%. And I was always looking for that and playing. And I think when I'm doing 100X, I need to just take money.
Yeah.
Like, so for, if you guys don't remember, when I did my 100Xs, I was trading by the minute, right? So I was like buying and selling, and Kilted was watching me sometimes where I'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, I'm buying this position. Boom, I sold that position. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
moving quick, but by waiting for 10%, I got in trouble. And really, what I should have been doing the whole time is either setting take profits or
Mm-hmm.
saying, you know what, I made $5, I'm taking $5.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you're making $5 every minute,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, just silly
Exactly.
not doing that.
So on another happy note,
Yes.
I am 0 for 5 for the
Oh.
VeeFriends new characters. And
Oh.
today is my last chance.
Oh
So
no. What are they going for now?
this is the book games. You can only get the new
Oh,
characters with your book game tokens.
that's right. I forgot
So
about
you
that.
have to put your wallet in, and then it's a jar. You find out the next day. There's this stupid guy in red pants or something. He
Oh
always says
no.
sorry. So this is my last chance. I did buy those extra ones hoping to get one, but it hasn't worked out like that. So I can still. I think I have 2 champagne. I don't know if I'm willing to buy a champagne. I have to look. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
it's all right. No, because the champagnes are really expensive. I wasn't willing to do
Well,
that.
speaking of V Friends too, um, VeeCon next week.
Yes, I
We're
was
gonna
gonna
be
say
together.
that's gonna be awesome. I know we're gonna have to record more than once. We might have to do like quick hotel.
I think we need to be TikToking a lot, so people pay
Yep.
attention to our TikTok. I'm sure we'll TikTok quite a bit. Um, and we're gonna have to shoot an episode in our hotel,
Hmm.
right? Like that's clear. We'll probably shoot another one somewhere, and
Yep.
we're gonna shoot next week for sure before
Yes.
we go. So we'll
Yes.
give you
We'll
guys our
still have our Tuesday.
preparations
Hmm.
next Tuesday because we'll be pretty geeked. I'm super excited.
I'm so excited. So speaking of, have you been on, I think it was on the VDAO Discord, they have a list of like different events going on as well. So we may want to look at that. Some of those are the unofficial,
Yeah.
but still look pretty cool. Like I mean, bowling's okay. I'm not gonna bring my bowling ball, but there's a whiskey party one night.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
There's a like a pre-VCon party, like you can go and hang out, and there's a basketball thing, which it's not a one-on-one, so we might not have a chance. But and they have a list of some other satellite events, so some of that may be cool. I think you and I want to take a look at that. But
Yeah.
I let someone borrow one of my tickets.
Oh, you did not tell me that.
So friends of the show, I'll say friends of the show. I don't know how often they listen. I don't listen to their show very often, sadly. But
Okay.
if you remember Manny and Stephanie, we still do need to have
Yes.
them on.
Yes, I
I
remember
can't
that.
remember if it was his or her brother was looking to go, and I was just like, hey, like I was going to offer you guys the ticket because if you remember the episode, it sounded like they lost a V1. Something happened with keys, and they didn't
Yes.
really go into it, but it seemed like a sore subject. And when we were recording, I was thinking that I was going to offer them to borrow one of my VeeFriends.
Okay.
So we got busy. We never had them on the show because I was like, well, when they come on our show, I'll ask them. They never came on, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But anyways, I reached out because I'd been thinking about it a lot. And she's like, well, we both have a ticket, but I can't remember, like I said, whose brother it is. She's like, he really wanted to go. So I was like,
Okay.
I just asked for it back. Like, they can use it. So, I sent it to them. And so, yeah, we'll have to meet up with them too
So
and
you
say,
sent it to their wallet?
mhm,
Ballsy.
yep. I'm willing to take that chance. I had a good feeling about them
You
anyway.
you
So,
always are. It's what makes you amazing, honestly.
I mean, they're 0.15. So yes, it's a couple $100 if they stiff me. But
We've been stiffed for more,
yes.
right?
So
It happens.
yeah.
It happens.
And you should have gotten yours.
I have not looked at my wallet today.
So when you said I didn't tell you, I didn't think I really needed to tell you because you could just look in your wallet.
I'm
Yeah.
jumping to my wallet right now. Oh, I'm not. Am I not logged in? Oh yeah, I am. Okay, what the heck is this? Oh, this is my hidden stuff. Did it come to my like normal? Sorry, people. This is important. I need to know if
Mhm.
Kilton sent me a ticket or if he sent it to someone random.
Nope. I sent it to the same wallet that sent me my miner. So while you're looking that up, I need to find out more about staking my Pluto Alliance.
Oh yeah.
So I did not win last month, and I bought another one. I forget what planet I bought, but I go to their staking site, and it's not really working well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working at all, actually.
Oh.
Like I can't see my guy or anything. And then I go to my wallet, and it's not my Pluto alliances aren't there anymore. So I'm
Really?
hoping I didn't go to like a bad site and give someone 3 of my Pluto alliance.
Staking is so scary sometimes.
So yeah, I was gonna reach out maybe on a private message or something and be like, I don't know where my guy is. So I'm waiting to stake my other one. Cause like you can like, yeah, I know their site went down, so I don't know if it's that, but
Right.
yeah, I need to find out where my guys are. Cause it said they were transferred to a wallet that is not mine,
Uh,
which is not how staking has worked in my past.
right. Right. Well, it seems scary.
Yeah, it seems slightly different.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be happy with that if I were you. That seems
I'm not,
worrisome.
I'm
Do
not
you think we'll get the chance to do any interviews at VeeCon?
If we did, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd
I
be
don't see
super.
why. I don't see why not.
I was thinking today that I really miss our interviews. Like,
I do
like
too.
those are awesome. So if we could hit a few of them, that'd be
Yeah,
sweet.
I think that would be super cool to do.
I think so. So you might get a lot of content here with VeeCon. I'm excited because I get inspired at places like that. So I'm excited to be inspired
Hmm.
and learn cool new stuff. So this is kind of replacing Gen Con for us. It's like we've grown up. We're big boys.
I know it is gonna be a lot different. I'm interested just because I think it's gonna be so different from anything we've ever experienced, honestly.
Yeah, I
Like
think you're probably right.
so different. And yeah, I think everyone there is gonna be super excited, which is gonna be exciting. And
Speaking of how awesome you and I think this is, and if he's listening, I don't mean this to be offensive. It's just funny to me, but Jason is like a huge negative Nancy.
Mhm.
Like the last time we were talking, I'm like, oh, you are like sometimes he's not a negative Nancy, but if it's anything to do with VeeCon, he like when he was like, listen, you guys better be careful. You're probably gonna get like mugged and get gang raped and watch out where you're going. I'm like, I'm like, I've gone to a lot of conferences.
Yeah. I no, I think for him the biggest thing is that
And I do love it that he cares about us enough to warn us,
yes.
right?
I think that because it isn't something that Gary has actually done, and that's
Yeah.
the point he brings up, but I think the companies that are going to be there are too big to make it janky. And I think that Gary has surrounded himself with people who it
Well,
won't be like that.
the thing is, and Jason knows this. This is why I say it's VeeCon that makes him negative Nancy. And you know this,
Mhm.
and I know this. All of us are people who go to shows a lot. We
Mhm.
go to conventions.
Mhm.
It's literally our jobs. So people, we've talked about our entrepreneurial journey. It's kind of what we do, and like to the point where Amy and I and other people have talked about becoming the people who manage that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right?
We talked about that.
Right. So there's companies that do that. Nobody does their own conference. Like Tony Robbins isn't managing his Tony Robbins conference.
He might
No,
be.
I don't think he is. I think he has a company that manages it for him. Like he's got more important things to do,
Uh-huh. Like,
right?
I don't think there's going to be like pipe and drape or anything janky like that. I mean, there might be some, I mean, I guess the people that are speaking there, they could have booths,
Yeah,
but it's not going to be, I mean, there might be pipe and pipe and drape isn't a big deal to me because that's
no.
how they make it look nice. They might
Yes.
just have each have their own room, really.
Yes.
Not going to be like, it's not going to be like a janky show where it's just like table set up and there's no pipe and drape and people have like they're sitting on their boxes and things like that.
Yes. Yes. It's not that kind of a show. But that's my point, right? Like when you go to a place like, let's say, I'm trying to think of one of the places near you that people would know. Here, like if you went to Ford Field,
Hmm.
Ford Field doesn't allow you to come in and be janky.
Yes.
Like they don't want Ford Field associated with that. Cobo Hall doesn't really want you associated with that. So first off, they make you use them.
Yes, that's true. Well, that's when you're doing stuff in big cities, it is like that. Like try to do something in Chicago and lift your own box.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
They made us jump through hoops like once just to go there to sell. I'm like, hey, I want to come sell. They're like, okay, here's the 30 permits you need. I'm like, I just want to sell a $4 piece of licorice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm out.
Like, no, thank you.
Right. And so when we go to Minnesota, you're talking about an event that's going to have probably a normal crew doing that, meaning it's not going to be,
Yeah.
it'll be your normal event.
Like some of the videos today, it was like I think it was the Coinbase room. So Coinbase has a room, they were
Mhm.
showing it, and then you walk out that room and you're walking onto the field.
Yes.
So it's gonna be like, and Johnny Walker is gonna have a little area where they're doing stuff. They're doing a thing on Saturday for sure.
Yes. Right.
So there's gonna be others like those are giant companies that are gonna bring their A games. So, and
And
I do agree with some of the things he says as far as is Gary spending the money on stuff, but I don't think it's that at all because those companies are going to pay to be there. Coinbase is
right.
paying to be at VeeCon.
Yes. That wasn't like, hey, we'd like you here. Like that's not how the game works.
No.
Right. Like John, like they paid to set up a booth. That's
Hmm.
literally how you do it. That's why they're considered sponsors, and
Yeah.
being a sponsor isn't cheap. And for them, this is a fantastic conference,
Hmm.
right? Because it's not your home and garden show where maybe you'll get people who care, or maybe people who will pay $10 for admission.
Hmm.
You just said your ticket was 0.15, right?
And that's low right now. It's super low.
Most people who have tickets spent thousands.
Yes. Yes. I see what you're going, where you're going with that.
So the clientele who are going to be there are people who can buy Johnny Walker Blue.
Hmm.
This isn't a home and garden show. This isn't people who are going to look at that and be like, I don't know. This is the kind of people that if you tell them, okay, this is going to be a $300 of Johnny Walker, they're going to be like, but if you told them, hey, this is going to be zero point 0.4 ETH, they'd be like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like a ETH in my wallet.
Oh, here's zero point 0.4 ETH. I've got a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. How much does that cost? 0point 0.4 ETH. Well, what's that in dollars? It doesn't
That's
matter. It's
nothing.
0.4 ETH.
Yeah, doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter what it is in dollars. It's ETH. I wish I had spent Doge on it. It's just what it is,
Hmm.
right? So I think that's going to be interesting. And maybe it won't, but it's just funny because sometimes he'll talk and I'll be like, sometimes he is so positive. That's why I love him and why I like him on the show. And
Mhm.
then there's other times where he'll start going and I'm like, whoa, whoa, where did this darkness come from? So, yep,
He's a
yep.
great guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My favorite one, people, and then we'll drop this,
Mhm.
was like they're going to knock your ass out and break into your iPhone with facial recognition and thumbprints to drain your wallet. And I'm like,
No, I was saying that I heard that they were doing that with Bored Ape. Did he say they were going to do that there and take?
yeah,
Oh,
I think you said it with Bored Ape. And he was like, yeah, that's what will happen there. You know, it's not Bored Ape, but it's V Friends. And
I must have missed that one.
does that, like, maybe that happens, but it's not like a normal thing.
Especially in Minneapolis.
Like, they're smashing Target in Minneapolis. They're not taking our V Friends. Was that too soon? Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon? Man,
I'm
no,
surprised.
that you're right. That was probably more you than Jason. The
Yeah.
whole conversation, you guys were negative Nancy's. I was listening to it while I was mowing the lawn. So
No, I was saying that I was just going to be careful.
you should always be careful in a big
I'm
city.
not always careful, but I'm going to be careful because I've been in big cities and I've wandered places where I probably shouldn't have gone and been okay. So that's probably on me. And being spending time in Detroit, and wandering places where like, oh, I had the greatest parking spots and they were always shady, but I knew where to park when I was going down to State Theater.
And that's the I
Well,
think that's what's happened is we're used to being safe in general because of Detroit. And for those of you who don't know, or maybe you do, Detroit's an awesome city. It's fantastic. It's great. It's also scary, right? Like one of Amy's colleagues' husband just got beat up broad daylight in the nice part of town,
oh, really?
beat up and mugged in on his way between two restaurants that my wrestlers walked the week before
Mhm.
in the middle of the night. It was gorgeous. And like I walked in the middle of the night, I didn't care because we're used to Detroit.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, Tristan's. I don't know if he's here or not. So we were somewhere, and I wish that the story was better because I could tell you where we were at. But it
Yeah.
must have been maybe Myrtle Beach or anyways, I don't remember where we are. But he and I were walking around, and he's like, and it might have even been Michigan. I might no, because he didn't come to Michigan with us, did he? Oh no, he
Yes, he
was.
did. He did.
So we were walking around when we were up in Michigan, and he's like, "This just feels like really nice here." And like, okay, I'm like, "Yeah, you're totally safe." He's like, "But no, it like really, really feels like I don't have anything to worry about." I'm like, "Well, you don't really have anything to worry about where you live either." But yes, like I think we were walking, I forget where we were at, but yeah, it was when we were in Michigan. It was so funny. I was just like, yeah, I guess like I don't ever feel weird in Charlotte or here, but
Right.
where he hangs out, there might be, you know, like people we grew up with.
Yes. Yeah. It might be a little bit sketchy.
Hmm.
Well, and so it does make us jaded, right? Like when we go to Minnesota, we're not as worried because we're used to Detroit. And so then we're I don't want to say jaded. We're too, but the thing is that because of Detroit, we sit there and we're worried about that, right? Like
Yeah.
you see your two, three people and you're like, I need to cross the street.
Hmm.
Like you don't like think about it or wait, or you're like, and I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like this might not be a situation I want to be in.
right, right. What you don't want to do, people. Here's a lesson for you. You don't want to be walking in downtown Detroit, downtown Windsor, wearing pleather pants and
No,
makeup and tight shirts and getting your ass slapped by somebody. That
that
sounds.
happened to me once.
Oh, did that happen to you? That's crazy.
But yeah, that was out of the blue. They just snuck out and smacked me right in the nose. And who would have thought that the girl I met that night would have turned out to be like super crazy and like one of the worst decisions I've ever made.
Which girl was that?
I met Melissa that night.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
But,
We can't talk about Melissa. We can't talk about her. We can't talk about the football commercials. Can't talk about her.
you can't talk about exaggerations.
Those are not exaggerations for sure. Those are not. I missed a whole football quarter once.
On that note,
Well, people, we're going to get off. It's great talking to you. Stay tuned for lots and lots of updates about VeeCon and about where the market's going. One of the things we didn't talk about, and we'll talk about next episode, is our issues with Townstar right now. So we talked a lot about Townstar last time and their new May Madness, and their May Madness has made me mad. So we'll talk a lot more about that in our next episode. But thank you so much for joining us. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Dragon Jer, love you all.